You can't drive the same road twice. A rough road in the Tusas Mountains reminded me that the traveler changes too. Written and read by yours truly, Oakie McDoakie. Screw ups and all. Heraclitus said you can't step in the same river twice. I always understood that's because the river is always changing. True, but so is the stepper in her. Figured that out during a joyride a few weeks ago in the Tusas Mountains west of me. Hadn't been on a mountain joyride in quite a while. Been busier lately, and then there's those crazy gas prices. But on this hot summer Saturday, I wasn't getting any work done, and the cabin fever was as bad as the heat. Cool mountain heights and maybe a little stroll down a shady forest road seemed just the thing. Now, a few times a year, I've got personal business in El Rito, New Mexico. It's a hamlet not far from the slightly bigger hamlet of Abiquiu, of Georgia O'Keeffe fame. Every time I go to El Rito, I take the scenic route through Ojo Caliente and up New Mexico 111. And every time I've gone that way the last few years, at the turn to El Rito, I've looked longingly north to where 111 continues up into the mountains, following the Rio Ojo Caliente, and thought, ain't been up there in years. Ought to make some time to have a look-see. Well, this was that day. So up 111 I drove through old northern New Mexico hamlets, La Madera, Ancones, and Vallecitos. Not much in these places, just a cluster of houses on small plots of land, wherever the valley opens up wide enough for a hayfield by the Rio Ojo Caliente or its tributary, the Rio Vallecito. Now, the words valley and rio, Spanish for river, might conjure up a vision of scale. Not so. Back east in the Appalachians, these rios would be creeks or cricks, and the valleys hollers. But nearly any perennial stream in arid New Mexico gets promoted to a river, and up at Vallecitos everything gets smaller and tighter, just as the name suggests, little valleys. It's an intimate place, as Vallecito with its old hamlets, its little homesteads with little fields, up in the mountains and beside the willowy creeks. Just the sort of place I'd love to settle, if I ever move and have the money. To have a little house, maybe an old adobe, set beside a creek, trees, a deep green field with a few goats, up near the end of the road where not many bother to drive. As I indulged this idle vision, reality hit me over the head. This isn't where my life is going. I'm getting older, mid-50s now. I don't want to trim trees and mow grass, and in not so many years, I might not be able to. Do the snowplows come up that far? It's an hour to the hospital in Espanola, when the roads are clear. How many tradesmen are willing to drive to where the pavement ends? No, if I ever move off my little hill, my cerro, out here at Hippie's End, it's probably going to be to move closer to people. Not because I want to yak with my neighbors, but because an aging body's going to need more help, more quickly. That's just facts. Damn it. Even if I take to van life again, which is a possibility, I'm pretty sure I'll be camping at state parks and close to paved roads, not 20 miles down a Forest 2 track like the younger Okie did. These days, I want to be accessible to tow trucks and ambulances. Even more so in a decade or beyond. I hate this. It makes me a little sad. It's not that I want to be young forever, and it's not that I resent my aging body and its needs. It's that I want to enjoy what I used to enjoy. But I can't do that. Not exactly the same way. It's that river problem. I'm not the same Okie I used to be. At the head of the valley north of Vallecitos, I came to the edge of the woods, Carson National Forest. Looking at my Google map, I saw that 111 continued as a steep and winding forest road through the Tusas. A dirt road, neatly graded and well maintained, so far as I could tell. Following 111 north would get me to US 64, from which I could circle home without having to backtrack 27 miles toward Ojo Caliente. Only 11 miles, too. A nice shortcut and a pretty drive through the mountains. Well, I only went up about a mile on that dirt 111. It was a little rough. Not too rough, not even as bad as my own little 2-track by Hippie's End, but a little rough, more than I wanted to handle. As I slowly drove up the switchbacks, I kept thinking about getting a flat tire. The backache of swapping it out. How my hip and shoulder hurt. How I'd just bought new tires, which shouldn't go flat, but if one did, That was just more money out the door. And my front suspension. It needs work. Nothing critical, but did I want to stress it and make it critical? And what if I got stuck? No signal up there. And who knows when anyone would come by? I chickened out, for reasonable reasons. But 10 years ago, even 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have taken it, abusing my van like the off road vehicle it isn't. Maybe it's just that I've spent enough money on repairs that I'm gun shy. Maybe I've just had my measure of backwoods breakdowns. Maybe it's the hurting hip. Maybe it's that low T the ads keep blathering on about. Yeah, it makes me a little sad. Not that I chickened out, not that I've become more of a cheapskate, but because today's Oakie found a Saturday off-road mountain drive a hassle instead of a holiday. As I turned around and drove back the way I came, everything I wrote above hit me, though maybe not in so many words. A disappointment, a resolve that's not quite acceptance, a mild melancholy. Home I came, the outing not quite the happy adventure I'd been hoping for. A nice drive still, for sure, and worth it, but my soul wasn't refreshed. So what do I make of that joyride now, with little time to reflect? What's my deep thought of the day? Only that observation I started with, that the river and the one who steps beside it are never twice the same. If you like this, you can tip me on ko-fi.com/Oakie McDoakie or follow me on Substack and the socials. Just go to oakiemcdoakie.com. Until next time, don't let the bastards wear you down.